Galnet News Update, 17th of September, 3310. What do you think of when you hear the name Felicia Winters? Charity worker? Aid coordinator? Disaster relief field worker? You may not believe it, but 11 months ago, Felicia Winters was elected to be the President of the Federation in an election that had itself been delayed by 4 months. She decided not to take up the role immediately, instead deciding to meditate and wait for inspiration, letting President Hudson continue as the leader of the Free Galaxy for a bit longer. 4 months later, in February this year, there was an earthquake, or possibly a Rhea-quake, on her home planet of Rhea 3. Winters threw herself into the disaster relief effort with far more enthusiasm than she seemed able to muster about becoming president. 7 months later, she's still in charge of the relief effort for this single, presumably devastated planet, long after the survivors have either rebuilt their houses or moved to a less geologically, or should that be rheologically, exciting planet. Time has been ticking by, but there's still 7 years and 1 month remaining of Winters' 8-year term, should she see fit one day to turn up at the Oval Office in Olympus Village and tell Hudson to shift his fat bottom from the presidential chair. That's if she can work up the enthusiasm to become one of the 2 most powerful people in the galaxy. I know it's not much, is it? But someone has to do it. The patience of the citizens of the Federation is wearing paper thin. It's true that 6 members of Winters' family died in the earthquake, but if she was unable to take up office, she could have chosen to stand aside and let Vice President-elect Isolde Rochester run the Federation, rather than letting Republican President Hudson continue to implement policies that are anathema to the Liberal Party. Well, now Winters has finally spoken up and says that she will, against all expectations, agree to become president. Thanking the people of the Federation for their more or less non-existent warmth, generosity and understanding while she failed to lead them for a year, in a no-shit Sherlock moment, she says that it's time for her to step up and become president. And then she says she won't become president quite yet. It'll take time, apparently, to pass on the mantle of Disaster Aid Coordinator-in-Chief, even though the disaster is now ancient history and there's no longer anyone needing help. When the time is right, Winters concludes, she will humbly accept the role of President of the Federation. When the time is right. The time was right in October last year, 3309, 4 months before the disaster in Rhea. It seems highly likely that she'll be a year late to her own inauguration, and that she'll have allowed the man who may well have been complicit in the sabotage of Starship One and the attempted murder of President Jasmina Halsey to continue to run the Federation for a whole extra year.